told Beth, I want to be a motivational speaker. She said, well, not really sure where to direct you, but I'll do my very best. Everyone who knows me has known since I came here in 2015 that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that for many, many years. But it wasn't until 2018 when I finally got that push. That was my big break. You ever heard of a big break? For some people it's American Idol. For some people it's, it's Housewives. It's not, no, thank you. But for me, it was winning that competition. And I had started my LLC in 2011. But when nobody knows you, guess what? Nobody's going to be here in the cold. This is cold to me. I live in Houston now. In the cold and in the snow to come and see you do anything. Because who are you? What are your credentials? We don't know who you are. But that gave me the boost that I needed to start my entrepreneurial journey. However, before all that hoopla and all that success, I want to tell you about my still standing story. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. If that's okay, say all right. All right. Say okay. Okay. Say get on down, girl. If you know me, you know I'm a little extra, and that's okay. My takeaway for you is one. I want you to do something for me. I want you to look to your left and look to your right. Look at the people around you. One, and this is for JT because he's a man of the cloth. You don't look like what you've been through, right? You don't look like what you've been through. And two, no matter where you come from or what obstacles you faced, you never know what path is going to lead you right here. There's some people in this room with some stories that you wouldn't even believe because we smile. And you ask us how we're doing and we say, oh, I'm great, I'm good, how are you? Right? Because if I told you, oh my goodness, my life is in shambles, my husband just left me, my baby is sick, and everything is wrong, you'd be like, okay, I'm so sorry I asked. But we don't look like what we've been through. And because of that, I'm going to share with you my still standing story. If you look at me, I think I'm pretty decent looking. I think I'm kind of cute, you know, a little bit, little Beyonce Jr. But some people call me Speak Beyonce. I'm not mad at it. But you see a successful woman. You see I'm well put together. You see that I look confident, right? I look confident. And I look like somebody who knows what she's talking about. And I'll just look like somebody who you'll be like, okay, well, maybe she's about something, right? I probably don't look like I grew up on 95th and St. Clair. You guys know where that is? 95th and St. Clair. Now, you know what? Let me paint the picture because I think it's about to get gentrified. So this is pre-gentrification, right? They called 95th and St. Clair, when I grew up, and I should tell you this, but I'm going to be transparent. When I grew up on St. Clair, I was there from 1987 to the year 2000. So when I was there, they called this place the wasteland. Can you imagine living in an environment that was self-titled the wasteland? Let's let that sink in for a minute. The land of the waste. What is waste? It's something disgusting, something that nobody wants to deal with, something that people want to throw away. Imagine hearing people say, oh, and this is my accent, so forgive me scholars, but we from the wasteland. This is a wasteland. You go and you see wasteland spray painted on different houses as I'm going to school. People are claiming this is the wasteland. They're holding up the W's, and they were proud, ignorant pride about being raised in the wasteland. So what does the wasteland consist of? It consists of a lot of homes with no dads. It consists of a lot of homes of teen mothers raising children they have no idea how to raise by themselves, half raising them because they still have to work. Or if they don't want to work, then they're not being productive because they're collecting government benefits and they're just trying to survive. What does that consist of in the wasteland? Drugs. Selling drugs, using drugs, abusing drugs, children doing drugs, parents strung out on drugs, brothers and sisters strung out on drugs. What else does that consist of? That consists of murder. That consists of rape, that consists of burglary and arson and every other violent crime that you could ever think of. I had a statistic slide with the stats and the research that I did as far as the crime rate in Berea, Solon, and Cleveland between 1987 and the year 2000. And this is from the FBI, from their, I think it was the Department of Justice statistics or something like that. And it said that between 1987 and 2000, who's my math person in here? How many years is that? 1987 and 2000. Take our chapter real good. 13 years. So in 13 years, think about violent crimes all together. That's rape, that's murder, that's what else? I think burglary. In 13 years, how many violent crimes do you think were committed in Berea? Somebody said 5. What else? 100. That's good. I think it was 136. In Solon, how much?
175.
It was like 3. I want to say it was 3. It was a little above 300. So Berea, we have about 130. Solon, we have about 300, between 300 and 400, and that's in 13 years. Guess how much it was in Cleveland?
3,000.
3,000? Okay. Anybody else?
10,000.
10,000. Anybody else? 106,977. And yes, for my stats and my analytic people, yes, Berea is this big, and Solon is maybe this big, and Cleveland is this big. But if you break everything down to perspective, where it's all in fairness, Cleveland was dangerous. Still is. Period. And I was living in the midst of all of that. How do you even make it to Baldwin Wallace, which is only 20 minutes away from where I grew up, people? This is not far away. You drive 20 minutes, you back in the wasteland, baby. How does somebody make it out of that situation to be still standing at Baldwin Wallace? How does that happen? I have no idea. But I stayed in the ring. And so I didn't get caught up in a lot of the activities that my peers were caught up in. I was able to, with my mom and my sister, we moved from the wasteland, 95th and St. Clair, over into the Collinwood area. Now the Collinwood area, still nice and calm. It was more settled, it was more peaceful. People still had a sense of pride. I went to Collinwood High School. Anyone? No one ever heard of it? I went to Collinwood High School, where we had a sense of pride going to school under the tower. And at BW, we have a sense of pride going to school. We know the clock. Who knows about the clock? When you see the clock, it starts off as what, like a hexaoctagon? Which gon? Come on, BW people. By Ritter. It starts off with, I want to say octagon. And then when you go to the other side, I think it's a hexagon. Then when you go to the other side, I think it's a square. Then when you go to the other side, I think it's a circle. Anyways, it just represents how well-rounded you get afterwards. Anyway, we had a sense of pride going to school under the tower at Collinwood. Moving out of that area, significant changes. Moving out of an area that was filled with violent crimes and hopelessness and broken families and brokenness in general, that makes the difference. Environment, it means a lot. So if you are in a toxic environment, when you get out of that toxic environment, you can breathe a little bit better. At Collinwood, I did very well. I never really knew the importance of education because neither one of my parents graduated from college. My mom eventually did in her 40s, but at that point, when I was in high school, she was still working at the factory. I went to Collinwood. I just knew that school was something that I enjoyed doing, and so I was very good at it. Went to school, did okay, still was kind of bouncing around. Wasn't very athletic. I was the drama kid. Theater majors, yes, no, maybe a little bit. Saw Kinky Boots last night. It was awesome. Anybody else see Kinky Boots? Yes? It was so good. Anyways. I did drama club. I did poetry. I did debate team. I did the academic decathlon. I'm ashamed of it, but I wrote the school newspaper, Sean, and I kind of submerged myself in those extracurricular activities to kind of keep my mind off of what was going on or what wasn't going on at home. Fast forward to high school graduation. I'm 18. I had a picture when I was 18. I still look the same, honey. Had a picture when I was 18. I graduated from college. But when you're